All right, welcome back to the episode of Beer, Bacon, and Roses. Always, I'm Alex. We got Chris right here, Keith down on the end. Adam's not here tonight. He is out doing things, saving the world, CIA stuff. But anyways, safe travels to him. Hopefully, Wisconsin treats you well. Anyways, we're having fun tonight. We're going to jump into we're going to talk about a couple teams for the NHL and the keys to their offseason. These are teams that are already eliminated. At the time of recording this video right now, the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs are actually playing Game 4. Toronto's probably going to get swept tonight. The game started like 20 minutes ago, so I can't really give you an accurate description of what's going to happen there. But before we jump into the keys to the offseason for these three teams that we've chosen, if you don't mind, just throw in some comments down in the video. Tell us what your team should be doing, what you think some of these teams that we're going to talk about should be doing. If you think we're wrong or if we hit the nail on the head, let us know. Likes, comments, they really help us out. We're just trying to grow the channel. It's easy. If you don't mind just subscribing, sharing the videos, just helping us out. Give us a little bit of love. But anyways, we're going to jump into this. We're going to talk about the Boston Bruins and the
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Lightning and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What I was going to say about Boston is about the Boston, but sorry, Pittsburgh Penguins. When I said Steelers, he tripped me up. I'm going to be the hockey guy. Chris said it before the video, and it tripped me up, and then he stopped me my thought process. What we say about we're going to talk about Boston Bruins and, of course, what's being regarded as possibly the worst meltdown in history of sports.
Fair.
Tampa Bay, one of the teams that's consistently being there, and what they can do next year to get themselves back up. And obviously, I chose Pittsburgh as a homer. We're going to talk about them, but
you also have the most knowledge about it.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into the easiest, the big fish right now. Of course, Boston.
Because they won 60 games.
They set a record for the most wins in the season. They won the President's Trophy because they were the best team in the season.
Did they get knocked out in the first round?
Yep, knocked in the first round.
65, 12, and 5. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like at one point in time, me and Chris talked about one of the other videos. I think they went like a month and a half without losing at home. Just ridiculous stats come out the regular season. And then they get caught by the team that had the lowest amount of standings points going into the playoffs and get beat by them in Game 7 in overtime. But anyways, I think the key to next year for Boston, don't win the President's Trophy. As we've talked about the curse of the President's Trophy.
Don't be so good.
It's pretty intense right now. Don't be so good. Take a couple L's, all right? Humble yourself. And then I saw a graphic today. If I remember correctly, it was at least 9 players, maybe more, are going to go into some sort of free agency this offseason. So you got a lot of players that potentially could be moving on. You might be want to keep. You got a lot of contract negotiations you're going to have to do. And that's just, that weighs heavily on the GM's office, especially when you have that many. And then Patrice Bergeron, the longtime captain, one of the all-time greats. He hasn't announced if he's coming back next season or if he's going to retire. They're wanting to know if he's going to sign, I think he signed a 1-year contract for this year, and I think they're talking about he might want to do that again next year.
37 years old. That's a lot. But he did put up 58 points this year.
Yeah. So the dude's still good, and then that's just also a veteran mindset. You don't lose in the locker room. In any sport, that's going to be huge anywhere. Yeah.
Right. Doesn't matter what sport it is. I hate to say it. I think for Boston, I don't think there needs to be a whole lot of mixing it up for them. I think if you can get these same guys back at reasonable prices, I know they said they only had $10 million in cap space, but if you can get these same core guys back, just try and run it back. I really think it's going to be fine. You won a lot of games. Yeah, you tripped up. Yeah, you just didn't play well at the right time of the year, honestly.
And their coach came out and at their end of season big press extravaganza that they did. And talked about how he took a lot of the blame because he just didn't get the players elevated, didn't get them hyped up. I felt like it seemed like there was a lot in the locker room of they were already looking past round 1 kind of thing. They just expected to glide on like they had done for the regular season.
Yeah, somebody came up and smacked him in the face.
Yeah, so it's one of those things like Chris was just saying. That team has found the recipe for success.
Right.
You had an offseason. You had a postseason blunder. Happens to everybody. I would try to get everybody back as much as I could. I would
try to re-sign at least 7 or 8.
If you get left with $1 in cap space, go for it.
So be it.
Boston's key to the offseason, as we're going to say, is Just bring everyone back. Keep the team together. Yeah. Keep the house whole.
Let's move on to the Lightning.
Yeah.
So, obviously a team that had a good season, didn't have a great season. I think we were a little more kind of whispering this could be a sleeper team, and they did. I mean, they did show up versus the Maple Leafs, who historically had bad, playoff runs at it, and yet again are doing that again today. But I just feel like the Lightning. I guess my question becomes: is this the end of the Lightning? Like the Lightning that we know for a couple years that were just absolutely dominating hockey, we're making finals every other year. Like, has that come to an end now?
I mean, the way it's going, I would say yes. I would say they're going to have to do more to bring it back the other way. Yeah. I think they're more on the decline, especially if they don't manage everything correctly or in the best way they possibly can. I think you are seeing like a changing of the guard. There's going to be more high-powered teams coming in. Tampa's biggest thing this offseason as well is trying to keep some of the old guard back. They got a handful of veterans. One that I'm looking towards is Ian Cole. He was on Pittsburgh's staff when we went back-to-back with a 16-17 run. I think he's a good defender. I would love to see him like free agency, as a Pittsburgh homer. It'd be cool to see him go out and snag this kid and bring him back. And I'll get into that reason why when we get to Pittsburgh. But Tampa's situation is just the same as Boston, is getting these veterans back, but they have I think their cap space is even smaller than Boston's. I think it's less than $10 million that's freed up right now.
It's 2.4.
Yeah, okay, significantly less. Yeah. 2.4 is not much wiggle room at all in professional sports. No. So they're going to lose talent. So, I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing for them is talent management and these contract negotiations. Because you've got 3 veterans and a couple of other guys that are going to free agency. So it's going to be, can you keep the veterans for less? Can you talk them into the classic, good old boy move of, hey, take a little bit so you can stay on the team.
Right,
we can pay somebody else a bit more. We can try to get a better chance. See if they'll take the pay cut. They're just going to have to make a lot of moves this offseason if they want to maintain, the elite performances that they've been having.
Yeah, I'm just kind of peeking through Tampa's roster here. A lot of players in their 30s. I mean, now granted, it's not exactly all of the scoring players, people that are putting up the points, but goaltender 38. They got freaking more of their roster is over 30 than it is under 30, and so granted, usually means a lot of veteran experience. But I'm with you. I think the Lightning are closer to completely falling off and phasing out than they are to winning another championship.
Yeah,
right.
But I've been wrong.
Or even
before.
competing.
I've been wrong before.
Yeah, really, or even the competing part of it.
Right.
The early exits, and I mean, hell, the first round exit by Toronto was shocking. Them being eliminated by Toronto was just shocking because we didn't have much faith in Toronto. We just the Canadian curse as we're kind of dubbing it. But
and then just Tampa doing what they've done the last 6 years.
Yeah, you always expect good hockey out of Tampa. But like Chris said, the age is plaguing them. Another Pittsburgh thing. As well, Pittsburgh had the oldest team this year. So that was rough. But Tampa's just going to have to figure out what to do with 2.4. But unfortunately, it just seems like this might be one of those times to where are they at the point where you just say blow it up?
Yeah,
because you've got older guys, you've got no much cap space. Like maybe like the first month or two, try to negotiate contracts. If it starts to go bad, just be like, all right, dumping everything. Like let's trade, let's do whatever. Let's make cap space and get draft picks.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see how these two teams handle because there's a lot of contract work that's going to have to be done.
Yeah, only 3 draft picks for them this year as well.
Yeah,
6th round, 2 7th rounders.
Yeah, and they're not going to be able to
good rounds.
Yeah, unless they make some crazy trades before the Stanley Cup Finals, they're going to be stuck with just 3 picks this year. I forget the exact date of the draft, but I think it's like a week or 2 after the Stanley Cup Finals. It's coming up, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. All right, let's bring it to your boys then.
Bring it to Pittsburgh. We've got the oldest team in the league this year. Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, they're getting up there in age. You've got Jake Gensel, who's getting a little bit older. He's in like the early 30s. I mean, but other than those 4 guys, there really was no major support on the team. One of the reasons I want Ian Cole, if we can try to get him back in Pittsburgh, like I said, he was there in 16, 17. He's been a part of these championship teams. And I think he can also bring another asset back to the defensive line where it's just not just Letang. You got Brian Dumoulin, who's got the name recognition. He was there in 16, 17. But I feel like Dumoulin he's not worth the $4 million that we're paying him. I think his production and his actual overall stats have just declined. There's been a lot of times, keeping track of like the Reddit boards and stuff like that, and like just watching the game in general. I felt like there'd be times like something would happen, like the other team would score, and it'd be like Dumoulin's ass, just like right there nearby. You're just like, okay, man, like I'm not saying you're on the ice every time something goes wrong, but you seem like you're on the ice every time something's going wrong. See if you can pull up Dumoulin's stats, see what his plus or minus is. That'd be the real telltale sign.
I'll pull it up for you right now. You actually would save $9 million between Dumoulin and Jason Zucker.
Zucker, yep.
Yeah, if you gave up those 2, that's $9.1 million right
Yeah.
now. Both unrestricted free agents currently.
Yeah. Zucker, I think we might be letting him walk. I'm not too entirely impressed with him this year. Ian Cole, though, like I was going back to, his plus or minus was actually pretty good, which for those that don't know, the plus or minus on an actual individual skater is you get plus or minus depending on if you're on the ice when like you score a goal, you assist, or if you get scored on and stuff like that. So you always want to have your defenders usually in the positive because that usually means shit's going right when they're on the ice.
He's at -4.
Yeah, Brian Doolin's at -4. I think Ian Cole was at like 21 this year. So that'd be a good, 25-point swing differential.
Yeah, that's a pretty big swing.
But the biggest thing for Pittsburgh is that we've got to go out and get some younger talent to help the big 3, as they're calling them, with Crosby, Letang, and Malkin. Especially with those guys, because with them being older, there's not much time left in their playing years. Especially Letang, who just came off a stroke this year, second. So it might be one of those things as he gets older, he gets more health issues.
So he had a stroke?
Yeah, he had a stroke this year. His second while playing in the NHL. This year's stroke, he actually went to the training staff and told them that he was about to have a stroke. And so they got him to the hospital super quick.
Jesus.
So he'd been down that road before. He understood what was about to happen.
But Letang and Malkin both 36.
Yeah.
Were -13 and -12 and plus-minus 12 by the way. So
yeah,
not great.
Yeah. It's not the best thing ever. Pittsburgh's going to have to get some support staff for these guys, get some younger guys in there, because the league's just getting faster. It's getting more in your face. You got to get those young guys that can skate hard and skate for just a tad bit longer than these older veteran guys that are more, I would say they've moved into more of their finesse stage of their career.
Right.
The Pittsburgh has a little bit of free agency problem, but I really wouldn't call it a problem because I think the guys that are free agents are guys that we can be happily move on from. Not looking at you, Tristan Jarred, but I am. Please be packing your shit.
Well, Casey DeSmith is also unrestricted free agent as well, both goalies.
Okay. Casey is, I don't know. I'm not really happy with either one of the guys this year.
I was gonna say.
Pittsburgh's gonna have to get a goalie, get a good tender in there. I'd be okay with both the guys left as long as we got somebody decent. We picked 14th, so you might be able to go out and get a decent goalie. I don't know. I haven't looked at the actual the Mel Kiper big board of the NHL.
Yeah.
Who's available?
The Barry Melrose.
The Barry Melrose big board.
Yeah.
Connor Bernard or whatever.
Yeah, he's going one. He's going one to Chicago. Chicago's already set records for season ticket holder sales and shit like that. And there's also been rumors that the NHL draft is rigged because the big market Chicago got the first pick overall instead of Anaheim at number 2.
The Coyotes would have been the team that I thought would have.
Which I think Anaheim is now, which they're saying Connor Bedard coming out number 1 is he's this generation's Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Who Connor McDavid was that generation's Sidney Crosby. So you got these 3 major guys. But the craziest.
He's in a birthday 2005.
I graduated high school in 2005.
Yes, you did.
But little fun fact, I believe, I'm not saying I'm 100% correct on this, but I believe when Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, and now Connor Bedard, however you say it, have been drafted, Anaheim had the number 2 overall pick. So they've watched all 3 of these guys go before their pick. Yeah. I need to fact check that, but yeah, Pittsburgh going at 14th. That's plenty of I mean, that's good enough to go get somebody talented. But if I was Pittsburgh, the key to my offseason, especially with a new GM, assistant GM, and president of hockey operations, since they decided to just blow up the whole front office, go get some young guys that you might be able to get for cheap. But
let them grow up.
Like, do like the Braves approach, where you went out, you got a bunch of talented young players that play together, but you got them on their rookie contracts or just a little bit higher than rookie contract for long terms.
Right.
Got to make some moves, and especially in the goaltender operation, you got to figure that out. I'd let both goalies go, honestly. I would blow up the goalie room.
I don't actually disagree with that. I mean, I really like. And Pittsburgh has historically been good about finding some good goalies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the thing is like I think I'd have faith in my team blowing this up and going and finding somebody new. But I definitely think there's got to be some type. There's just so much age on Pittsburgh. There's got to be some roster turnover there. Like
it has to be.
Jeff Carter's 38. I mean, there's got to be some moves to release some of these older players, get a little bit younger, probably get a little bit faster. Honestly, is the big thing. But I'm with you. I just think defense and goaltending is something that
defense and goaltending would be the two big ones for me.
Yeah.
And then after that, just if you can get some speed, young speed, that's what I would go for.
Yeah. All right.
Any other expert tips out there, Barry Melrose?
Yeah.
Can you name the mascots of the three teams we covered tonight?
Yeah, the Penguins. What were the other two teams?
Boston,
Tampa.
Lightning,
Lightning,
Tampa, and then Boston the Bruins.
There you go. Good job. All right, I'm proud of you.
I know a little bit. not like baseball.
We're proud of you. We're proud of you. So, all right.
let us know what you think. What's your team's keys of the all season? What you think they should do? And if you have a team that you think should just truly blow up the locker room, drop a nice little GIF in the comments. If you can. Just have fun in the comments. Let's talk some hockey trash. Anyways, thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
We'll see you soon.